Hi, today is the day we're going to find out what remaining volunteer sweet cherry tomato plants I have throughout the yard. Today is Friday, June 13th. I'm going to give little guys that are more than about this tall the opportunity to grow up this summer. So I'm going to take a walk around the yard and going to assess the situation and find out how much work I have to do. Stay tuned. Live from Bill's Golden Garden, we are on the hunt for volunteer sweet cherry tomato plants. Let's see what we have down here. Let's see, there might be one there. You can see right there, could be one. And I'll have to decide if it's big enough. There's definitely one right here who's coming along nicely. And the rest, that's just junk that I will weed out. There's one. I think maybe he's too small. Let's come down and look for some more. Walking down here. Okay, these cages are where I'm trying to get sunflowers to grow, and I'm clearly not doing something right. I did get some sunflowers in the cages. I'll remove the cages shortly. There's a volunteer sunflower. Let me get back on topic here. Over here, sunflowers in cages, doing okay. And I'll remove the cages as I just mentioned. But inside of this cage here, if I can look straight down, there's a volunteer tomato coming up there. And next to the sunflower over there, I have a volunteer tomato. These are all coming up from last year's droppings. I have volunteer tomatoes here. I have volunteer tomato there. Is that 5? I don't know, maybe 6. Yep. Must be the sun out. There's my shadow. I have a collection of nice volunteer tomato plants through here. That gets me up to probably 10. So let's walk out to the back and look for more volunteers. I do know of a volunteer that's over here in the side bed because last year I actually grew tomatoes over here. There's a volunteer right down there. You can see him growing up next to the sunflowers that I planted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the cages where I don't have tomato plants growing. So I think I might have a sunflower there. I can pull this cage here out. I can pull that cage. I'll pull out some cages here and see if I can squeeze some plants right along the front row of this bed. I'll back up a little bit so you can see. This is south facing. The tomato plants will get plenty of sun. And the rest of it, we're going to take a walk back to the back bed. And I'll have to do a bit of weeding back here. I have a lot of weeding to do. Who are we kidding? So let's go back here and look at this section of weedy stuff. This is a little bit wet sometimes because my neighbor's watering system sometimes doesn't go well and it leaks. Anyway, this area gets sun most of the day. So whatever volunteers I have that I can't fit in on the side bed over there, I'm going to put them back here, and I'm going to use traditional wooden stakes back here. So this is where I'm going to put them. And next step is to start preparing the beds. I know that you've been dying to know what I've been doing while I was gone, but, well, wait, no time has elapsed since my last video. Anyway, so what I've done, I've cleared out this hot mess of cages, and when I was doing it, the song popped into my head, I can see clearly now the cage is gone. How about that? No, I can't really sing, but anyway, that popped into my head. The cages are gone, as you can see, and I pulled out the stakes. Now, I'll talk about this in a different video, but down on the ground there are landscape staples, and those are very helpful for a lot of things I do, holding down the tomato cages, or the chicken wire cages, and for when I use my garden twine, I anchor it in the ground with the landscape staples. So let's look at this. I thought I had about 10 tomato plants. I counted them up. I have over 20. So I've dug way too close together these holes where I'm going to put the tomato plants. I have 10 holes dug. Again, they're way too close together. I'm going to grow a single line up my twine and feed the tar out of them. I'll have to move some of these. These tomato plants, most of them are going to move. I might let a couple of those that you see right there. I had a pointer, wouldn't that be cool? This guy here, may let him stay. He can't stay, he's too close to the sunflower. And this guy here, he can stay. So I'll move, but these guys back here, a couple of them might be able to stay right there because behind them is the canna and I've got a sunflower to the side. I think I might be okay. So I'm gonna see what tomatoes I can leave where they are. Again, these are sweet cherry tomato plants. They're volunteers that I originally planted in 2022. And we're 3 years past and I still have volunteers. I'll talk more about that in a different video. So I got this all ready to roll. And my next step, well, this is the soil that I excavated. I will go amend this soil, make it better. So when I backfill, I'll have a happy little world for my tomato plants. For those that might be wondering about tomato plants and sunflowers, do they get along? I did go research that and they do get along. There are some folks that think there's a certain, I can't remember the name of it, but it's a certain thing that could impair the growth rate of the tomatoes. However, if you think about it, these are volunteers. It's June 13th on a Friday, so I'm planting them late start. The good news is because they're cherry tomatoes, they don't have to get as big to start ripening. So I'm going to push the envelope, which is kind of the way I roll, and we'll see how it turns out. This area is no longer holy ground. I have planted all the tomatoes. Oh, before I go any further, you notice that some of these tomatoes have flopped over, like they're wilted, like I'm not very happy, blah, blah, blah. To this point in time, all year long, I've not had one fail yet. They've all bounced back. What's different about today is it's later in the season. It's in the 80s. It was sunny. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But I'm counting on them all bouncing back. So at this point, the tomatoes are all in the ground. I left that blob of that group of 5 back there. You can see that back there. I left that group there. I'm going to treat, when there's 2 stems close together, I'm going to treat that as though it's 2 plants, I understand, but I'm going to treat it as though I allowed 2 stems to grow, which is like 2 tomato plants. So I'm just going to see how that does. And moving on to the middle section, the tomato plant back there. I didn't move him. He's got cannas behind him. He's got a sunflower in front of him. I'm going to count on him. He's a bigger plant. I'm going to count on him to see if he can push his way up through what's going to become a pretty highly shaded area, because this sunflower that's next to the tomato is a volunteer, so he started earlier than what you would normally plant in the soil. Moving back to the tomatoes, I got all the holes filled, some more wilted ones. This one I found way back in the back bed all by himself. I tried to convince myself it's tomato plant based on the leaves and based on whatever. So we'll see. It's really unhappy with me right now. And then down here, to finish it off, you can tell the ones I had to move from the ones I didn't have to move. You can see that one I did not have to move, and his buddies. Now the one on the end's acting like he never got moved, and he did. A lot of it has to do if it's more of a bare root planting where all the soil fell off, or if I was able to move a clump of soil and leave most of the root system intact. That's where we stand right now. Next up is to add black cow, which is cow compost. And no, it doesn't smell like cow manure. I'll top dress around each of the tomato plants with black cow, and then on top of that, well, actually, walk with me. Walk with me. Let's go over here. I will show you what I have. I'll top dress with this black cow manure. See the numbers there? 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. You can buy other products that say that they're similar, and it's like 0.05, 0.05, 0.05. So you got to read your decimals and know what you're getting. And let's walk down here a little bit. I'll show you the organic, all natural mulch for food products. You don't want to put regular mulch down. It's chemical mulch. Okay, that's what we have. I'll be back after I've got everything top dressed and ready to roll. Hear the crows? They're happy. Well, it's Saturday morning and I'm going back out to see how those cherry tomato plants doing, especially the ones that were weeping, leaning on the ground. So let's go from left to right. Everybody's popped up, up and happy. I tied up that sunflower because he kind of flopped over last night. I hope that'll be good enough. He didn't die, so he's happy. I was removing some of those tomato plants within inches of the sunflower root system. So I would not have been surprised had the sunflower decided to give up the ghost, so to speak. So every one of these plants has popped back up, even those that were lying on the ground. What I did was I very carefully laid the leaves out as flat as I could and made sure that the plant, when it was kind of weeping over, wasn't going to be, let's say, so tight in the bend that it would have cut off its ability to get its fluids. So they've all got their fluids. Every single one of those cherry tomato plants that I planted yesterday, transplanted, excuse me, every one of them has bounced right back. I think that's pretty amazing, and a testament to the resiliency of the cherry tomato plant. Let's walk down and check out this area that I was just going to mulch. Here's the story. I thought I had all the cherry tomato plants transplanted, but after weeding the area, I see one, I see two, and I see three. Well, some of these little ones may not make the cut. There's one over there, one back there, right there. So what I'm going to do is, in front of the cannas, I'll process 4 or 5 more holes, plant aggressively close to each other, and then I'm going to be done. I won't show you those results. You'll have to just trust that it actually works. Oh, and one more thing. I have processed over 100 sweet cherry tomato plants, all volunteers this year, given about 75 of them away, and I've planted the rest. So that's a ton of volunteer plants, and I'm just happy that I could help out a lot of other people and give them the opportunity to have their very own sweet cherry tomatoes. Thanks for watching. If you picked up some golden nuggets, or maybe even chuckled, smash that like button or click subscribe to Bill's Golden Garden.